Let's learn how to replace a blade today. There can be anywhere from 2 to 6 screws. Just loosen all of them so you can remove the blade and the clamping caul, carefully setting them aside so you can tip this over and they don't fall out. Next, you're going to try tightening the other side, realizing you want to loosen it, changing directions. There you go. Loosen that up so you can get the other blade out, but we're going to leave the clamping caul in place. They are weighted and I don't like to get them mixed up. Grabbing our blade that we want to change to, we're going to make sure that the teeth line up with the groove and slide it into the head here. We're going to put a little bit of tension on it so it can still slide back and forth, but it's not going to fall out. You need to imagine which way it's going to rotate in the machine. I imagine it's going to rotate down and needs to be flushed out to the right side of the head. This way it sits flat against the bottom of the spindle. Make sure your magnet is perpendicular to the blade and only covering the bottom 1/4 inch. If you do this, it'll make sure you have consistency between all blade changes and you'll have a better cut every time. What you're going to do now is tighten down both the screws to make sure that blade is secure. We don't want it flying off in the moulder, hurting the machine or anyone else. Removing the magnet, we're going to flip to the other side. Remember that we missed a step. Flip back, grab our pencil, and we're going to count how many ridges it is from the deepest part of the blade. Right here you can see it's 2 ridges away from the deepest part of the blade, so we're going to match that on the other side. Now, putting the clamping caul in place, we can start sliding the blade in and match it up. Carefully counting how many spaces there are, we're going to try to slide it in so the teeth match up, so we only have to do this once. Double checking, it looks like I have 1, 2 ridges and it slides off the edge there, so this should be perfect. Repeating the process from before, we're going to take our straight edge and put it on the bottom 1/4 inch of the blade, flushing it up with the bottom of the head. And now we can snug this blade up the rest of the way. Here we're going to measure the radius of the blade. The first thing you want to do though is make sure that the calibrator is calibrated. First thing you need to note is that the shaft is 1.5 inches in diameter, so we need to make sure it measures out to 0.75 on the radius. Utilizing this little black oblong piece at the top of the shaft should simulate where the center of the shaft should be. We want to zero it out on that and then move the calipers along the length of the shaft to see if it measures out at 0.75. Sure enough, we're reading 0.75, so we're ready to go. This does have about 0.02 of a difference in tolerance, so don't worry too much about it. Lowering this down, we're going to try to find the deepest point of the blade to get our most accurate reading. Now that we found the deepest portion, we're going to rotate the blade around, simulating how it would spin inside the machine to get the truest measurement. Knocking it back in to see how close we are, we see that the blade is actually a little bit different and I didn't do that great of counting. So we're going to have to take this off and do it again. Now that we got that squared away, we're going to want to repeat the same process as before, rotating this around to simulate it being inside the machine and measuring the radius of the blades. I noticed that they are just about the same, about 0.02 of a difference, so I'm going to take the bigger number, but I want to double check to make sure the caliper is in the right spot, so we're going to lower that down and double check its position. Once we're satisfied that the blades are within 0.010 of a difference between each other, we're going to erase the number that was there before and write our new number, making sure we take the bigger of the two. Make sure to write your number in a place you can see it when the spacers are on to make install easier. And that's how you change a blade.